Yeah, it's
After?
login. No, it's your just your regular Avid portal.
Is this it?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And you'll want to go and find find an invoice.
Do we have any invoices?
Are you looking for are you wanting to start from the complete inbox, the Avid the
Yeah.
inbox? Okay. So you probably the easiest way is to go to capture, and that will probably open a second window you'll need to pull over.
Does that work?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
And then on that at that top right corner where your name's at, if you just want to pull that down and then go ahead and go to Avid Inbox. All right, it looks like you don't have anything in pending processing.
Let
Yeah,
me,
are there any in approval queues? We can kind of go to that piece if we wanted to, or if you want to forward something to the inbox, that's okay too.
where's the approval queue?
If you go to the invoice, yep, go right there.
Okay.
And then, or we can do a search. So if we just hit that search at the top,
Uh-huh.
and in the status, in the second column, that first box where it says status,
Yep.
let's do pending approval
Okay.
and see what we've got. Hit search. And let's look like there's nothing in pending approval. Let's go up a little bit. Let's see if there's anything already fully approved. So in that status, you can go to approved
Okay.
and hit search.
Okay.
It looks like there's 2 that were fully approved. But in the meantime, if you want to just go ahead and pull an invoice from your account,
Okay.
from your email, and then just send it over, that's fine. Or you could just do that where it says my uploads and do it from there.
Okay.
And then you can drop it right there.
So essentially, when the invoices come through the mail or through the email, it's going to show where pending.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like there are some in there in your research queues. Like you see where that's research says research.
Yeah.
That looks like there might be recently some things that didn't have either an invoice or some ship to research that needs to be managed in there.
So these are all pieces of mail that came in and that we haven't looked at.
Those have been looked at, but there's pieces of information that are missing. So if you click into one of them,
Yeah.
so they're able to kind of identify some of the information, but looks like the supplier is not able to be identified based on this. It looks like there are 2 called Charter Township of Redford as a vendor.
Yeah. So yeah, this is fine. We can use this.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's how it's listed. So it's listed in AppFolio as that. So that's what it's looking for.
So you can't just type one part of the title or the vendor name. It has to be in order.
It should be able to find that.
Okay. All right. So we got that. So account number would be this. So you
Hmm.
just click this, do that,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
Okay. And
And that one looks like it's probably complete.
so what do we do
And then
after?
go ahead and hit save on the left-hand side.
Okay. Oh,
Make sure we've got everything. Supplier research. Yep, we've got
oh,
that.
required
Customer
question
account
mark.
number. Yeah, it just didn't save. Okay, hit create new account.
Create new account.
Yeah, and you can add it right there. Yeah, so you'll have to put some payment terms in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you should be able to submit now. Now so anything that's in that research queue, you'll want to make sure you go in and kind of go through all those. But now that should have processed into a approval state. So
So
we can go ahead.
when I get mail, I go into AvidXchange, Avid Suite, right? Like I go here, um, or do I go? Is this a different link?
So you'll go into the AvidXchange and then you can hit capture, but our indexers will take care of anything that's in the inbox. And then if they can't, that's when it goes into that research queue. And then research queue is managed by your team for anything that they can't complete so it can be completed.
Okay, so when let's say your team handles it, it gets completed,
Mhm.
and where would it go? Where would it show up?
So it's going to go into one of your workflows. So just depending on where the invoice and how the invoice was routed and they were identified. If we go back to Avid Invoice, so you can search for the invoice itself. So if we go up to that search
Okay,
and then on that invoice, we can either select that kind of pending approval and see where it's at. And
okay,
that's the one.
but
Yeah. So if we look at that one,
okay, so now what do we, so to import this into AppFolio, what do we do next?
yep. So we've got to get that one all the way fully approved. So if we click into it and we can look at what workflow it's in. So if we go on those tabs at the bottom and we click on that workflow tab, it looks like yep, it looks like either you or Dave. So we'll want to go ahead and add some coding onto that. So if we go to the distributions, and we'll have to code that invoice.
Distributions, where is that?
That tab, it's the first tab on that same line where it has workflow. Yep.
Okay,
And then you go ahead and add a line. Go ahead and
oh,
hit add. Yeah.
okay,
And then you'll go ahead and code. It looks like it defaulted that code, that property code already.
okay, so I don't have to worry about this?
That should default. Let's take a look at what it defaulted to. Is that the correct property code?
Yeah,
Okay. Yep.
oh, it's
And
the
then,
correct address right here.
yeah, perfect.
Then the DL codes would be water, okay, and then there's a unit code, and then we just put 19 bill, 9%, 100, okay,
You can just go ahead and hit save at the top
okay,
and then go ahead and hit approve.
okay.
Perfect. So
And
it's not,
and now that bill will automatically sync to AppFolio.
nope. We have to run the sync. So the only time it's going to automatically sync to AppFolio is when we have those scheduled syncs that we set up. So
But
this one we can actually manually push. So go ahead and go
but
on the
if I
left hand.
don't but if I don't manually push it, it'll automatically sync at the times I have it set up for.
Yep, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we
So
go
before we
into,
go into the sync though, so we go into Avid Invoice, we go into, is there like a spot where I can just see everything that needs to be pushed into the queue and approval and all that, or do I have to actually go into like um, the search and then go into one of these and actually click it?
yeah, that'll be the best way to find just depending on what status that invoice is in. So if it's in any pending approval, so it's been fully coded, or I'm sorry, fully indexed at the top, so the header level information has been completed and it's waiting for somebody basically to code it and approve it, it'll be in this pending approval status. So you can just do a search from that.
Okay,
Anything that hasn't been indexed is going to be in the Avid Capture inbox, or it may be sitting in um, like
so,
the additional information.
so what I want to know is what spot am I looking at first to bring everything over in order so I'm not like doing, like I want to just go to like one page, get everything approved there where it flows to the next page, get everything approved there and flow to the next page to get it approved to sync to AppFolio.
The only way to do that is if you do that search that we just did and click on that pending approval status, and that's going to show you all
Okay,
the
so
ones that pend approval.
I'm going to log in here. I'm going to go to capture, right? And then I'm going to go to
It's the
search right
search.
here.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, and then I'm going to go just look for the pending approvals
Hmm.
and just hit search. Is that it?
Correct. Yep. And that's going to show you anything, again, in any of those users queues. What that's telling you is those are all the invoices where the header level information has been complete and it's sitting in a workflow waiting for approval.
Okay, but there, but in here in Avid Capture,
Hmm.
there are still a number of bills that have to get to this
Correct.
stage, correct?
Cor-
If it's stuck at the very first step, this is the first place I need to go.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
now,
this is anything that has not been completed from the indexing standpoint from our indexers.
okay, so now like I'll go here, I'll click this so I'll go into Avid Capture, right? Which is you go in from here, you hit capture, you look at anything that hasn't been indexed. Um, and same thing. So we have supplier, Redford, Redford, and then go here. Okay, create account, payment terms. Okay, confirm. Okay, so now this is good. We want to save it and then submit it. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now this is done. Now we can finish all of these, but after that's all done, we go back here, we go into invoices, we go to search, we go to pending approval, and we go to search here. This comes up. We click this. Um, and then you wanted us to look at workflow or
Yeah, that
no?
just tell that is helpful to tell you where that is in the approval process. So if there's any issue with it, or it's depending on how your workflows are set up, it's going to tell you where it's at in the approval queue.
Water, water bill. Okay, and then we're looking at this is not correct. 120, 28, 28. That's if I pay it today too. Why is it saying remaining amount 889?
Because at the header level information, that's what it's showing, that current.
Oh,
So yeah, you'd have to change that total if you needed it to match.
got it.
And then your percent says 107.98.
Now it's good. Okay, so then we just save this and then approve.
Correct.
All right. Okay.
It looks like something's missing. What was the message? Invoice total line
Invoice.
items. Okay. Go to your line items tab, and we have to update that as well. So right next to the distribution lines, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, just need to update that. Change our unit price.
28. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. And then you should be able to save and approve.
Okay. So now this will automatically batch at the time we have it set to sync.
Hmm.
Let's just go and go through the sync process one time then.
Sure. Yeah. So if you click on that connect button on the left-hand side,
Connect. Okay.
and let's go to connectors.
Connectors. Okay.
That tab right there. Yep. And then on the little gear, or I'm sorry, the little three dots, you're going to click on the little three dots where it says AppFolio.
Okay.
Yep. And you're going to hit sync now. And then we're going to select company invoice. And then on the bottom right, you're going to hit sync now. And you can, if you want to pull over any vendors or anything right now, you can.
We might as well, right?
Yeah.
The sync now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's going to bring you back to this connectors window, and go ahead and hit refresh on that top right, that little blue button that has the two arrows. And just give it a few seconds here just to refresh. And you can hit that refresh button again. And it looks like a
This
couple of
one
them are
says running.
pending. Yep. So the vendors can always take a little bit. It looks like the invoice is running successfully. All right. So we have some vendors updating.
Okay.
And then it looks like
Everything's
they're, yep, the
everything's
invoice. Yeah, so if we go into AppFolio, you should be able to find those two invoices that came over that we just sent in.
okay. And so they should be the water bills.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. These are it right here.
Perfect.
And then, so if I wanted to go in here.
Yep.
Heidi always has to update it in Avid and then also redo it here. Like we want to just reduce the amount of work that we're doing. But
Sure.
anyways, let's save it. We save it. And then now, okay, so there is Avid Pay now.
Perfect. Yep. So if you go ahead and select that.
Okay, so now
Utilization.
I'll just do, okay, approve payment. Okay. So we paid it through Avid Pay. My question is now, I have to do every single one individually.
You don't have to. You can actually create a batch. So before we do that, though, let's go back into the sync and pull that payment over into Avid Pay. So if you go into the connector, let's see which one that is. Yep, it might already be open at the top. Yeah. So let's go into connectors and then those three dots again.
Yeah.
And sync now.
Okay.
And then check that global payment request and hit sync now. And go ahead and hit refresh. Let's see if we can get that to pull over. It looks like it's running. Go ahead and hit refresh again for me. It's just thinking a little bit. And it looks like we've got a payment. So if you go back to your normal Avid, yep, and then hit pay on the left-hand side, you should see that payment pop up right there. So at 3 p.m. today, that payment's going to run and process for the vendors, and it'll go out the door today. So if you click into that batch ID, where it says batch ID on the left, yep, you can see all the information. So that's going to process, and it's going to go out as an Avid paycheck, it looks like right now. So that's basically when you mark your bills, you have the option to do them individually if you want to, or you can do them as a batch. So if we go back into AppFolio.
So let's start from the beginning. Can you go to that task on the right-hand side and click Pay Bills for me? Perfect. All right, and then go ahead and choose whatever bank account.
Oh, wow.
If it's all, you can
everywhere.
pick
all.
Yeah.
So do this and then choose.
All right, and then there you go. Then you should be able to click Avid Pay.
Yeah. Okay, that's where it's at. We were looking on the left-hand side.
Yeah, on the right-hand side, the pay bills, that is where you'll be able to select that. And then you can select, if you have all bank accounts, you can select the batch where you can select everything.
And then it'll just batch over to Avid, and then it'll sync. And then at that appropriate time, it'll send the payments out.
Yep.
All right.
Perfect.
Yeah. Once you go through and finalize all these payments, you'll put in your payment approver. Whoever that payment approver is, you'll get that that payment code or whatever AppFolio gives you. And then whenever your Avid Connect sync runs, it'll pull all those payments over that are ready to be paid.
Okay. Sounds good.
Perfect. So if we go back into Avid Connect, should be, yeah, in that one. And let's click on connectors. Oh, just ask you to sign in. Just timed out a little bit. And go ahead and hit open again for me. And then connect on the left. Yeah, go ahead and click connectors. And then that's schedule sync. So let's look at what we've already set up. So we turned it off. So go ahead and hit edit on the right-hand side. Now it's active. Yep, perfect. Nope, you're perfect. Yep, you can do that. So we have it. Go ahead and hit edit though. Let's take a look at that. Make sure we've got that to where we need it. So it's got it daily starting at noon, running every 12 hours to sync all that data. Does that still sound good to you as far as that goes?
Yeah, so at 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. it always syncs.
Correct.
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. Go ahead and hit save for me at the bottom right. And you should be all set. And again, if you need to sync anything before that time, you can do that manual push just like we showed before with those, the two dots selecting what you need to bring over and then bring all that information over.
Okay, sounds good. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
perfect. No
And
problem. Thanks.